I was a Marine. I defended our embassy in Iraq.
I was in the Army. I was a combat photographer in Somalia.
We did a lot of good over there.
I saw a fellow soldier save the life of a child.
That's why I'm still serving.
And that's why I'm still serving.
These are the stories of true American heroes, of men and women who served in the U.S. Armed Forces, veterans now, still serving their fellow Americans. Hello, I'm Jim Benson with VA's Office of Public Affairs. There are 1.8 million female veterans in America, and more than a few are struggling with their transition to the civilian workplace. In this edition of Still Serving, we hear an amazing story of perseverance from a female veteran who was once one of the homeless.
I joined the Navy to get the GI Bill to go to college. Mission accomplished. Well, almost. The GI Bill seemed like a surefire way to get ahead of the game after being discharged out of the Navy. Yeah, that's right, I thought to myself. I'll get out, go to college, and then get a good job. However, it wasn't that easy. No one told me that there was a strong possibility that I would become a homeless, honorably discharged, disabled female veteran, and that I would have to work 3 jobs, go to school full-time, take care of my husband with PTSD and our 3-year-old son, all while living in substandard housing conditions. No one told me in the 3-day transition course upon exiting the military that I really wasn't prepared for the real world, and that there was a strong possibility that my life as I knew it would be turned upside down for years to come.
Ginger Miller was honorably discharged from the United States Navy in 1992. Without knowing where to turn, Mrs. Miller, her husband William, and their 3-year-old son struggled to get by. Within 2 years, the Millers were homeless. Living in a basement, Mrs. Miller worked 3 jobs and attended Hofstra University while working toward a degree. Working day and night, she earned a bachelor's degree in accounting and was finally able to pull her family out of their substandard conditions.
To be homeless after being in the military for 4 years after the medical discharge, it was something that was different. It was scary. It kind of put life into perspective. When you're in the military, you have that secure environment. You're getting paid on the 1st and the 15th. And then when we got out with the medical discharge, we didn't have that. So it was kind of, we scrambled for a little while. My husband was promised a job that fell through. His post-traumatic stress disorder kicked into high gear. And then I ended up carrying the load for the family, working 3 jobs and going to school full time. And I think it was such a bad experience, but at that time, I didn't realize what I was going through. I just wanted to make it out of the situation that I was in. It kind of messed with your mental state, because when you're in the military, you have a sense of pride, and then when you get out, it's like, where does that pride go? You have it for the first couple of weeks, and then when reality sets in, that kind of diminishes. Right. So I think we need to do more during that transitional period. It is not just jobs, but it's the smaller things. What about food? What about some type of housing allowance? And I know the government can't do it all, but I think with the right research partners and the right networking partners, we can make a difference. But again, it goes back to the smaller things, the small support. And I think that's where veterans are falling through the crack.
After her experience with homelessness, Mrs. Miller said a call from God led her to help other veterans in their time of need. In my Father's house, there are many rooms. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. John 14:2.
No one told me that God would light a fire up under me to start a nonprofit organization dedicated to helping homeless and at-risk veterans. No one told me that one day I would be like Harriet Tubman, leading my fellow veterans to a safe place that they could call home through a network of resources. No one told me that once I escaped the jaws of homelessness, that I would go back into the lion's den to help my brother and sister veterans find their way out of homelessness through networks and collaborations just like Harriet did. When I first started doing this work with John 14.2 Inc., I kind of felt like in the county where I live, Prince George's County, Maryland, we have the highest number of veterans in the whole state of Maryland. And at that time, we didn't have a lot of services. So John Driscoll from the National Coalition for Homeless Veterans, I said to him, you know what, I want to have a roundtable in Annapolis. So I reached out to Delegate Ross. He said, Ginger, I'll do it with you. I'll partner with you and we'll have this event. And we had over 35, groups to come out that day, maybe about 75 citizens, and we had this roundtable in Annapolis to raise the level of awareness of what veterans are going through. So I'm just really hooked on advocacy and outreach. As far as the VA Medical Center is concerned, we've worked on the homeless veterans stand down together. And that was the first one that we had in Prince George's County, Maryland, and that was great. We had over 75 veterans to come out for services, and we partnered with over 50 other organizations. So I consider that to be a success, especially for the first time out. I think it's important to collaborate and network because one organization can't do it alone. And I think when you're a startup organization, a lot of people don't take you serious, and it took the VA a minute to take me serious, and now they do. So now I'm a substantial stakeholder in the community for veterans.
Becoming an advocate for veterans, Ginger Miller and the nonprofit she formed, John 14.2 Incorporated, have put over 50 veterans into homes and have helped supply more than 250 veterans with food, clothing, and rent. She was featured in an Essence magazine article, Women of Valor, and was honored by the Washington Wizards for her work in the community.
No one told me that through my efforts to reach out and help other veterans, that my own healing process would begin, and that the walls of my prison would begin to collapse. No one told me that I would reach the lives of so many veterans in need. You have to reach the veterans. And the thing is, you just don't reach out to them, but you have to reach these veterans at their point of need. You understand? So if I'm homeless and I'm having issues, I don't want you to read to me what the book says. I want you to listen to me so I can tell you what it is I feel I need, and then maybe we can come to some type of conclusion that's going to help me and my family out. There was a veteran that we had got in contact with. There was an organization in D.C. giving away toys. And they said, well, Ginger, how many veterans can you bring? I brought in 15 families that had about 75 kids, between them. And this one guy, he said to me, if you didn't call me, I wouldn't have toys for my kids for Christmas. And he said, as a father of 5, it was eating me alive, and adding to the other problems we already have. So, sometimes it's the small support that you can do for a family. There was another family when the Washington Redskins had an event, they were looking for veterans to give food to. I called 2 families, again, 2 veteran families, each one had 5 kids, and if not for that, they wouldn't even have a Thanksgiving. It's the small things that will take these veterans from one day to the next day. Okay, you know what? Now I have food. Now I have Christmas. Now I can think straight. So it's always not because veterans are on drugs and alcohol that they're homeless, but sometimes it's just the circumstances surrounding these veterans that come out, because when you get out the military, you don't really have a great income. Unemployment is not great. So you have to fight for the unemployment check, go through that red tape. Then you figure, you know what? I'm on unemployment. Can I really afford a decent place to stay? So it's kind of like you have all these other things, but if we can make you at least comfortable while you're in that situation, then I think it makes a difference.
In June 2011, Mrs. Miller started Women Veterans Interactive, a division of John 14.2 Incorporated, dedicated to serving and supporting women veterans, reaching out to them at their point of need to try and provide them the help they deserve.
It's the status quo that a lot of women veterans don't self-identify as veterans, and that's kind of bad, and I think it's true, because as a woman veteran myself, I know when I was going through, my veteran status wasn't as important to me as surviving, as keeping a roof over my head, making sure that my son had something to eat, and making sure that my husband wasn't going over the deep end. So my veteran status kind of got put on the back burner. So what we're doing, henceforth, because of that status quo, we're trying to create platforms that will bring women veterans out, the strong ones as well as the weak ones. So back in, I believe it was June of last year, we started Women Veterans Interactive, which was supposed to be just a division of John 14.2, but it's growing by leaps and bounds. So now we have applied to become our own nonprofit organization in addition to John 14.2 Inc. I would like to see real advocacy done for women veterans, not in a platform where, women are angry, but let's create a platform where you can truly listen to what our needs and our wants are, and learn how to reach women veterans at their point of need. Because I went to a couple of women events last year, And, one thing I found is that women veterans, they kind of felt like, although this event is for women veterans, I can't talk about it. Nobody wants to hear what I'm saying. I didn't get enough peer-to-peer interaction. During these events, you would see women veterans kind of like getting together in the hallway, sharing their stories about what they've been through in the military. And from what I've seen, they wanted more of that. So we designed this brunch cruise for women veterans to come together, have peer-to-peer interaction, be unified, and get empowered at the same time. But it's also designed as an outreach event. We've partnered again with the VA. We have benefit guides. The VA Medical Center is sending specific things over just for women veterans and the services that they have available, because my thing is this. Okay, we get together, we share the stories, we hear a powerful guest speaker, we have some important people there, but when I leave, I still don't know about the services that are available to me. So we're going to make sure that they have everything they need to know about the services that are available to them. And thus far, we're having a great response. No one told me that I would one day pursue a master's degree in nonprofit and association management and my MBA. No one told me that the little boy that was once homeless with his parents, who were both disabled veterans, would grow up to be accepted into the University of Maryland, College Park, with high aspirations and goals of becoming an anesthesiologist. No one told me, but now that I know, I will stand up on the rooftop, I will stand up on the mountaintop, and I will tell every veteran that there is help available. I will tell them about the resources and the support available to help them make a smooth transition from active duty to civilian status. I will tell them that there is hope because I made it and you can too. Just because I know the way out, and I will show you. I will tell them to be encouraged and to hold on just a little while longer because help is on the way. I will tell them that you are not alone. And I will continue to expand my network and build collaborations just like Harriet Tubman did, to lead my brother and sister veterans to a place that they can call home. My name is Ginger Miller, disabled veteran, wife, mother, caregiver, advocate, commissioner, president and CEO of John 14-2, Inc., and Women Veterans Interactive, and I'm on a mission to help my brother and sister veteran so that they will never have to say, "No one told me."
As president and CEO of John 14-2 Incorporated, Ginger Miller has been a passionate and dedicated advocate on behalf of veterans and believes strongly in the combination of advocating, networking, and collaborating. Thank you for watching. I'm Jim Benson.